Technical issues during the broadcast, please call the Oregon Studio hotline at 336-831-0864. Stations, your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Duck's gonna pick it up, and here we go. Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. He's gone. How about that? Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
Duarte pulls up, 3-ball. Bang!
LJ Figueroa!
Oregon goes back to back for the 4th time in the last 6 years. The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
Foley 3. Goal! Foley ball. 3 is good. Diarra-Savali. Wing. Pow. Yeah, boom, boom.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
What a weekend.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
One more sleep until baseball postseason. Scott's got his bat. I've got my bat. I've got my ball. Everybody, we are ready for Oregon baseball in the Eugene Regional. Coming up, a 2 o'clock start tomorrow. The Ducks taking on Central Connecticut State. The Blue Devils, by the way. And I'm really looking forward to it. Can you tell? Pretty darn excited about Eugene Regional postseason. The road to Omaha goes through Eugene. That's a basketball, but I guess we can try it. Oh, that was a terrible throw. Evan softball's down. No, terrible. Wait, here we go. Oh! By the way, that went right up into our server rack, and we are never going to see that again. Oregon baseball, the Eugene Regional is in town. 2 o'clock start on ESPN3, the Ducks against Central Connecticut State. We will have a 1:45 pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network, and I'm excited about it. Today also, we will find out the all-conference honorees for Pac-12 baseball. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, waiting on the release from the conference, but let's just say that I'm anticipating a significant number of Ducks are going to be on that list. That's just the season that Oregon baseball put together, so that's what we have to look forward to. Keys to success for the Ducks, well, we're going to go through that here and hear from a few of the coaches and student athletes in just a little while. Also today, we will hear from Robert Johnson, head coach Oregon Track and Field, because the national championships are at Hayward Field next week. And how about this? Always love the phrase, once a duck, always a duck. Well, how about the Always Us team competing in the basketball tournament? That's the winner-take-all $1 million tournament. The Always Us Oregon alumni team. You love it. Guys like Casey Benson, Jonathan Lloyd, Joe Young, Jaleel Abdul-Bassett, Dwayne Benjamin, Mikhail McIntosh, LJ Figueroa, Paul White, Shakur Juiston, and Elijah Brown are going to be competing in that tournament coming up. It's a cool deal. God, that's a really, really good team. Oregon men's basketball director of operations, Josh Jameson's going to be the head coach. Robbie Ellis and Brian O'Reilly, a couple former managers for the Ducks, are going to be helping out. It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Team Always Us. Good luck to the Oregon alumni. That's pretty darn cool. Also today, we are going to get to know the new Oregon men's basketball assistant coach, Chris Crutchfield. He will meet with us after we talked to them yesterday. We're going to have that for you on the show here coming up in just a little while. Chris Crutchfield talking. And collegiate baseball, though, we do know a couple honors for Oregon baseball. Aaron Zavala has been named a second-team All-American today. And first baseman Gabe Matthews and outfielder Tanner Smith both named to the third-team collegiate baseball All-America recognition for those guys. Hey, clap it up, boys. That's great work. That's great work. Oregon baseball, 2 o'clock tomorrow against Central Connecticut State. If the Ducks win, they'll play at 7 o'clock on Saturday, and that's what we're planning for. Yes. We're not hoping for it. As Mark Wasikowski has told me on the Toyota Coaches Corner, hope is a bad strategy. You plan, and you be there. You be prepared. It takes what it takes to be successful. Did I sound like Coach Waz right there? Oh, I got to work on my Waz. I had a good Coach Horton, but I'm working on my Waz. 1:45 pregame show tomorrow with myself. That means no Duck Insider, of course, because we'll be doing postseason baseball at PK Park. Let's get to know our men's basketball assistant coach, though. Chris Crutchfield. We sat down with him yesterday and got to know the new Oregon men's basketball assistant coach. It is my pleasure to welcome the latest addition to the Oregon men's basketball coaching staff, Chris Crutchfield, to the show. Coach, thanks for being here. First and foremost, just welcome to Oregon. How are things so far?
Well, thanks for having me. It's been a really, really great transition. Before I came, everybody talked to me about this Oregon rain, and I hadn't seen much Oregon rain, and it does get hot.
Yeah. hey, serious question. Are you a guy that has bad allergies? Because this time of year, it'll kick your butt.
I've been great to this point. Normally, I do have some stuff, but I haven't had anything since I've been here.
Coach, enjoy it while you can. I'm just telling you now, enjoy it while you can. Coach Crutchfield joining us. Coach, we have a tradition on the show, and I really hope that nobody warned you about it, because otherwise it won't be near as fun. Everybody who comes on the show for the first time, we make them tell their 2-minute life story. We will time you, and there is a leaderboard here in the studio. So what's the 2-minute life story of Coach Crutchfield?
2-minute life story. Grew up in a small town in Kentucky and played every sport growing up, and ended up lucky enough to go to college to play football and play basketball also. Had a chance to go to grad school and get my master's degree. And that's how I got into coaching. Wasn't planning on coaching at all. I was going to be a FBI agent. So I got my undergrad in criminal justice and did juvenile probation for 6 months in Omaha, Nebraska. And that wasn't headed the right direction that I thought it was going to be. So I ended up going to grad school, get my master's, ended up coaching. And if my math is right, it's 28 years later, about 8 to 10 moves, but I'm now at the University of Oregon. So I've been to some places here. Of course, you've seen my resume. I've been New Mexico State, Oral Roberts, TCU, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Had a chance to be a head coach at Tyler Junior College in Texas, and had a chance to be a head coach at the Division II school in East Central Oklahoma, and I'm happy here to be here at University of Oregon with Coach Altman and his staff. They've done an unbelievable job of turning this thing around in the last 11 years. And as I'm starting to knock on people's doors and talk to people about the University of Oregon, it's been unbelievable at the reception that name gets now. And I know what it was like, 11 years ago, because my best friend is Tony Stubblefield. So we talk about recruiting, so we understand some of the things, the challenges that they had when they got here. So it's been really, really good. So hopefully I got the 2 minutes.
That was 1 minute and 52 seconds. Well done.
I'm good. I'm good.
So I've always said that basketball players, are the best at this because you guys have that internal shot clock. Right? So I've always thought that basketball players were the best at the 2-minute life story. Don't tell any of the other athletes and teams that. But well done. Coach Crutchfield joining us, getting to know you a little bit. Hey, have you talked with Coach Cristobal about the fact that he almost became a Secret Service agent and you were going to be an FBI guy? It seems like there's some similarities there.
I didn't know that. I need to bring it up to him.
Yeah, he was. That's the story with Coach Cristobal. Somehow, I guess it must be a similar mindset to be a coach when you're getting into that kind of stuff. I mean, what'd you take away from your education now that you're using in your coaching world?
Well, see, I got my undergrad in criminal justice, so I hope I'm not dealing with any more criminals.
That's true. That's true.
But it does teach you how to navigate with different personalities. It teaches you how to know what procedures and guidelines and laws are, which you have those things with the NCAA. So it coincides a little bit.
No doubt. You mentioned Coach Stubblefield. All of us at Oregon are just thrilled for Coach Stubbs, and I think that let's just say DePaul is probably going to be a powerhouse here pretty soon with Coach Stubbs at the helm. Tell us about your relationship with Coach Stubbs. I didn't realize how close you guys were.
Oh, it goes back to 19. I'm gonna date myself here. 1990.
Wow.
1990 when we first met, and I was already at Nebraska Omaha. He came in from junior college from Clinton, Iowa, and we just hit it. We hit it off. Look at this. I speak his name. He's calling me right now. How about that?
That's great.
So I to pause him. I'll get back to him. So, but no, and we've been best friends ever since. We lived together, hung out together, kind of grew up as men together in Omaha, and we started this coaching thing about the same time. And it's funny, I replaced him in a couple places. Like he was at Texas San Antonio, left to go to Texas Arlington. I come right behind him, and now it's happening here. It's been the second time, so it's been a unique deal. He's helped me along the way. I've helped him along the way. We had a chance to actually work together at New Mexico State for 4 years. And that was really, really a unique situation, just to be able to work with a guy that you know and trust, and who we think alike. So it's been really, really unique, and I've been lucky to have a good friend beside me like him that's in the profession, that we understand each other.
That's awesome. Chris Crutchfield joining us, talking a little bit about our newest addition to the Oregon men's basketball staff. All right, I got to ask you about at least one of those spots that you were at previously. Obviously, a connection with Coach Kruger and Coach Altman. They go back a long time. You talk about friends in the industry. I think those guys could probably say a lot of the same things you just said about Coach Stubbs. What was it like working with Coach Kruger and at Oklahoma? And I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that you recruited some of the best guys that we've ever seen in that uniform for the Sooners.
Well, thank you. It was really, really, and I tell people this, and they ask me all the time because I've been to some places. That was the best place I've ever been. And don't get me wrong, Oklahoma is Oklahoma just because of the brand. But the people makes it what it is. And me working with Lon was like working for Santa Claus. I mean, it was really, really good, really good. And he treated people right. He's very, very smart. He's a very intelligent basketball coach. And just the way he treats people, his humility. And I've learned a lot from him, just how to deal with in different situations. And, as a guy that you've been around who blood pressure never gets high.
That's good.
In a stressful business like college basketball, blood pressure never gets high.
We have a lot more to come with Chris Crutchfield, our new Oregon men's basketball assistant coach. We're getting ready for Oregon baseball in the Eugene Regional, also track and field coming up. We got head coach Robert Johnson on the way. But I love this. Let's just read from Kyle. Joey, Dana is a recruiting genius when it comes to the transfer portal. Let me just say, I think Coach Altman and his staff, they were geniuses before the transfer portal existed with transfers. The Ducks have been really on the cutting edge of that in basketball. I'm excited for the way this roster's taking shape. We got more with Chris Crutchfield, getting to know the new Oregon men's basketball assistant. A bit more after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
On March 5th, 2021, we lost a larger-than-life member of the Oregon Ducks family. Chris Bjork passed away surrounded by his wife Allison and their 3 sons, Anders, Henry, and Jordy. After spending more than 26 years working with the University of Oregon, we are proud to establish the Chris Bjork Scholarship Fund in his honor. Go to goducks.com/Bjork Scholarship. That's goducks.com/Bjork Scholarship to make a contribution and help us remember a great Duck.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield IMG College.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be a
stadium.
bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree.
It's huge!
Is the moment I knew that for him.
You can't even see the top of that thing. thing.
Even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're inside the Country Financial Studio. Oregon baseball starting its postseason run at 2 o'clock tomorrow. The Ducks will be in action against Central Connecticut State at PK Park. 1:45 pregame show for you here on the Oregon Sports Network, and it's going to be televised on ESPN3 as well. We continue our conversation with Chris Crutchfield. He joined us via the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line yesterday to talk about his career and why he came to Oregon. He's a great addition to the Oregon men's basketball staff. We continue our conversation with Chris Crutchfield. Hey, so can you settle something for us now, because you're one of the few that have been at both Oklahoma and the University of Oregon. Can you tell me why the heck it's OU at the University of Oklahoma and then everybody messes it up and it's OU for the University of Oregon? I mean, what gives?
See, it's really OU at the University of Oklahoma, and here is UO.
Right.
And it should be the other way around, right?
Well, it just, I don't understand. Like, for them, it should just be UO also, right? Like, I don't get it. I've never understood how that happened. Like, and does anybody ever say, for Oklahoma, does anybody ever call them UO, Coach?
When I first got there, they was like, I would say that because I came from UNO, which is Nebraska, Omaha. All of a sudden, I'm at the University of Oklahoma, but it's not called that. It's called Oklahoma University with the brand. And it was unique. I think it was all branded. It's all just like that big O right there.
That's right.
All branded.
That's right. Anybody who's been at both, I always have to ask them, like, how did this happen? Like, how did we get it so backwards? But, well, anyway. Hey, tell us a little bit about your recruiting philosophy, Coach. I mean, when you're going out on the recruiting trail, what do you look for in a basketball player?
Well, one is character, their integrity. Of course, you have to have some skill set, some talent, but I think that your character and your integrity. Plus, I think I'm big on competitive energy, competitive spirit. If guys competing all the time, even trying to beat the next guy to the water cooler to get a drink, I want guys that are competitive, and I think. If you got that, you can work with a lot of different people in those situations to be able to find talent. So
sure.
That was one of the main things that I think, just to mention a few. Yeah.
You recruited Trae Young, Buddy Hield, as we alluded to. I think Duck fans remember how good Buddy Hield was in one particular game. I mean, just guys like that. Is that the competitive energy that you're talking about?
That's it. He had it because he wasn't a top-ranked player coming out of high school. We brought him in, and I saw him when he was 14 years old in the Bahamas. And, he ended up going to school in the States, and we ended up getting him at Oklahoma. But he was a three-star player, to be honest with you, who really could not shoot the basketball coming out of high school. He was a high-energy guy that could really score in transition, knew how to navigate in traffic. But he couldn't shoot it. And we just broke down his shot from day one. And I remember the fights we used to have because I tried to get his elbow in to get his shot right. And he just wanted to fight. No, that don't feel right. My arm is hurting. I said, that's okay. You'll be okay. You got to do this the right way. And we ended up doing it. And once he figured it out, Joe, I mean, he was like a kid with a new toy. And he just worked at it every single day. He put in time and effort. And I tell people all the time, I talk to people about him, and I say he's a self-made shooter. And some guys have it at the age of 10, 11, or 12. You know it. You can see it. He was a self-made shooter who perfected it to the point where he became one. He's considered one of the top 5 shooters in the NBA today. But it wasn't like that, 2011, 2012 when we got him at Oklahoma.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Chris Crutchfield joining us, getting to know the Oregon men's basketball assistant coach. This is a general question. Why Oregon? Why'd you choose to come here? What was it about this place that brought you in?
Well, it's a good question. I'm glad you asked, because people ask me that, because I was a head coach at Division II school, coaching my kids, and I enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a break for me from this crazy stuff that we're doing, and I really, really enjoyed being a head coach. I enjoyed coaching my boys, and of course, it was just a lesser level to be at, and then, of course, I've turned down a couple opportunities along the way, and then, Damon called, and Coach Kruger called, and Coach Stubblefield called, and those are two people who I'm closest to, in Lon and Tony, and they all just, advocated for Dana and this program and what it's all about, and he needed a guy that was similar to Tony, and we thought about it, talked to my wife about it, and brought the kids in the room and talked to them about it. And it took about a week to kind of get it figured out that I can't turn this opportunity down, because this opportunity don't come back to you. So we jumped on the button. Now here we go.
I love
Let's
that.
Go. We're back.
That. We're
back in it again.
This is great, though, Coach. I mean, I feel like sometimes the storybook just writes itself, right? I mean, the stars have lined up for you, and now I'll tell you, as just a Duck fan here sitting, like, that's really what I get to do. I get paid to be a professional fan, Coach. Like, that's what I say as the broadcaster for the team. Like, thanks for being a Duck, because we're glad you're here. So, thank you.
I am too.
I'm glad that you made that decision. So, hey, tell us a little bit about how your roster's shaping up. I mean, obviously this is a crazy time, but I'm happy to report that you guys can go out recruiting again. Holy cow, what's that going to be like?
In 15 months that Division I guys have had a chance to see any prospects live. So there's going to be some people chopping at the bit here to get into a gym to see some kids, because I'm an eye guy. I have to put my eyes on guys, and watching them on film don't do it justice. And it's been frustrating as a recruiter, as a coach, not be able to see them. But we're excited. We get a chance to get out here, those 2 opportunities in June. Then we got 3 weekends in July. We'll be worn down and be tired, but we're excited to get back out there to see these kids again, because I think it's an unfair evaluation for a program. And for a kid to have to pick a school without having a relationship with anyone on that staff, other than through a Zoom or through a video, through a picture, and that's so unfair that it's been that way. But unfortunately, it's a pandemic. We can't control a pandemic. But I thought we could have did some more things from an NCAA standpoint to get the coaches back, or to get kids on campus in some type of format. But I'm happy we got a chance to get back out there, and it's going to be a fun June and a fun July. It's going to be busy, but it's going to be fun.
Well, here's to a great recruiting season, and also good luck getting settled in, all right? I mean, I know moving across the country is never fun. Moving across the country in the middle of a pandemic must just be a nightmare. So I'm thinking about you, Coach, all right?
Well, I appreciate that. That means a lot, and it's been fun. I've never lived in Pacific Northwest. And I'm excited. Me and my wife are coming out, and we're excited just to live in a different part of the country.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, I could keep you. I could tell you and I are going to have conversations for a long time over the years. But this is great. It's great to get to know you. Thanks for being a Duck, and best of luck, Coach. I look forward to shaking your hand in person here sooner than later, all right?
Thank you very much for having me on, Joe.
Chris Crutchfield, New Oregon men's basketball assistant coach, kind enough to join us, getting to know him a little bit as he and the rest of the staff now can hit the recruiting trail, start putting together that roster for next year. And well, it's shaping up pretty darn nicely, isn't it, for Oregon men's basketball here in the off season, and then before you know it, it's going to be the season again. Chris Crutchfield, welcome to Oregon. Glad to have you. He joined us via the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line. Coming up next, let's switch gear to a little track and field. We're also going to talk a little more baseball. Keys to a regional victory for the Ducks in the postseason. We got all that for you coming up next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Dear Freedom, Toyota hybrids say let's go, faster and further, revving with power and slicing through curves. From the athletic RAV4 hybrid to the elegant Venza and the swagger-filled Sienna, we're taking adventure further. So let's go places, Toyota hybrids.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Freedom, Toyota hybrids say let's go, faster and further, revving with power and slicing through curves. From the athletic RAV4 hybrid to the elegant Venza and the swagger-filled Sienna, we're taking adventure further. So let's go places, Toyota hybrids.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hey, speaking of basketball, some good news. Looks like the NCAA has just announced that the international three-point line distance has been approved for NCAA women's basketball. I like that. To make it a little bit more consistent, that's good news coming out today from the NCAA. Oregon baseball is in action tomorrow at 2 o'clock. The Eugene Regional, you can find the full schedule at GoDucks.com. The Regional does get a little complicated, as we all know, with scheduling, but if the Ducks win tomorrow at 2 o'clock, they play Saturday at 7, and then just move on from there and get 3 wins, and you don't have to play any more games, and you win a regional. That's the plan. That's the plan for the Ducks. Today's show brought to you by Shadow Hills Country Club, your family resort just minutes from home. Call for a tour today at Shadow Hills Country Club. Meanwhile, for Oregon track and field, the Ducks are getting ready to host the NCAA Championships. They begin next Wednesday. Next week will also be our last week of Duck Insider shows because we've got track and field going on at Hayward Field, and well, I might be on the road with Oregon baseball to a super regional. Hopefully it's here. You're rooting against Tennessee, everybody. That's the way the bracket works out, rooting against Tennessee. Sorry, Vols. Just want the Ducks to win and be at home. That's all we want. The Ducks will be at home for track and field, though, and that's how it should be. It should always be at Hayward Field. I have strong feelings about this. It should always be at Hayward Field. Robert Johnson, we've got a lot of the thoughts from the Oregon track and field head coach heading into next week's NCAA Championships, where the Ducks are poised in both the men's and the women's championships to maybe bring home another national title. Robert Johnson meeting with the media yesterday.
Excited to get this thing started. This is kind of the crown jewel of our season. One of the things that we prepare for all year long during the outdoor season. And so excited to get it started. Excited to have 15 men and 9 women competing and representing the Ducks, and waiting to shoot the gun and get it going. You guys will get here and it'll be totally different looking place than when you were here in the past. It's as neutral as it can be. I almost don't recognize it at the time with all the signage and the scrim and all the things that are going here to make it look like the host site for the NCAA Championship, which we're locked in here for a 7 out of 8 years or so. So excited about that, and excited, like I said, to get started.
The pandemic changed a few things with track and field. A lot of athletes got an extra year to hang on and come back to the championships that they missed last year. How do you see that playing out this coming next week?
I call them super teams. You see some super teams there that have lots of kids that come back for that 6th year or that COVID year that the NCAA granted. You're probably going to see that for another year or so before we get back to our normal 4 or 5 year rotation. But it's going to play out differently. I think there's some teams there that have some kids back that are going to make a difference in the final team score. Us being one of them, hopefully. So those people that came back for that extra year will definitely have a role in the NCAA championship.
Robert, are you excited to have this meet back in Eugene? Was there something about being able to go down to Texas 2 years ago and just not have to be the host school that you enjoyed, or is this kind of where you want it to be?
It's a double-edged sword for sure. It's a crown jewel for us as a university to be able to host this and showcase the University of Oregon and our program. So it's pluses on that side of the fence. But I'd be lying if I said there's not a lot of work and a lot of meetings that go into this. We want to put our best foot forward in hosting this because we feel like that we're a natural site or a natural host to be able to do this. And I think we do it better than most. And that's just me being biased. That's me bragging about the University of Oregon and the reason why they call it Tracktown USA. So yes, I think we always would want to host this meet if possible. But like I said, there's just a lot of behind the scenes and a lot of people that do a lot of work and a lot of people come together to make this what it is. And hopefully everybody comes and enjoys. And if the student athletes have a awesome time and an awesome experience, student athlete experience, then mission accomplished.
Cole Hocker has been so good for so long this whole season. I mean, almost seems like a Superman, but no one is. What do you attribute to his ability to be able to sustain excellence and also be so good over a range of distances?
Two things. You have to remember Cole is a sophomore. And so there's some years to go as we continue to nurture his talent. How is he so good so far? It probably started with a high school coach and training him a little differently than most high school and collegiate runners train. He's just from a short end up. And so second thing probably that contributes to that is our coach here, Ben Thomas, who's done a fantastic job and continue to shepherd and nurture Cole's talent, as well as the rest of our men's distance runners. So the combination of all those things involved gets you to see the Cole Hocker that you guys are raving about as we speak this year.
You've had some meets now in the new Hayward field, but now you're going to have some fans. How do you anticipate that changing the dynamic?
We have a large portion of our team that has never competed at Hayward Field. We had practice yesterday, and I was just listening to some kids talk about how they've never competed, and they were talking about the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated sides, and their parents, some of them are not, and they're going to be on one side of the field versus the other side of the field, and are they going to clap, and are they going to do this, or are they going to be excited? And so they just don't know. And so I was like, hey, for you rookies that have never experienced that Hayward Field magic, that's the last thing you need to be worried about. These are some of the most knowledgeable fans in the world. They will do their part if they're allowed in.
Yeah, Robert, your horizontal jumpers have just been so good all year long. Have you ever had a collection across the board of such talent through long jump, triple jump, men's and women's? And what do you attribute their success to this year? Beyond stellar coaching, I assume.
They're super talented. Recruiting is probably a big part of it. I don't think I've changed much as a coach, even though I feel like I learn and experiment and try new things every year. And because that's just like you said, the group that I shepherd and oversee. As far as groups like this before, probably stars here or there, but never of a collection of them all together. So there's good women and there's good men. Usually there's a good man or a good woman, but not multiples of those. And so we got two on the women's side and two on the men's side. And so that's probably the biggest difference in this group that we have here is there's just multiple of them. There's more of them.
Yeah, you touched on this a little earlier in the last question I asked you, but the old Hayward had this Hayward magic thing that whether it was true or not, the athletes believed in it. Do you expect that to carry over to the new stadium? Is it really is got a different look to it?
Yeah, and Ken, that Hayward magic thing has nothing to do with the look. We often talk about that Hayward magic and taking that on the road with us. So when we go to Pac-12s, we bring that Hayward magic with us. When we go down to College Station, Texas, this past weekend, we try to take that Hayward magic here with us. That's here and within our team. But for those that are coming here and those that experience and will experience Hayward Magic at Hayward Field, it's something special, and that's the people. So no matter the building, no matter the stands, no matter the track, no matter the infield layout, no matter those things, the people here in Eugene make that Hayward Field magic. You know, coming off the Bowerman Tower or the Bowerman Curve, however you seem to or want to call it, those things are special. And it's going to be really exciting to see our kids, our rookies, our newbies, our neophytes here experience what it's like to be here at Hayward Field with the people in the stands. If I could make a plea or a push here, and maybe we should have did this a week ago, I would love for you guys to put out some articles to see if, and I'm going to blame on twofold. First of all, Lane County Public Health. We're 3,000 people short of being able to drop our status from high to low. Can we plead to Lane County Public Health to go out to these rural areas? Now, I've been in Lane County for a long time, but not until this pandemic and things on the news that I started to watch. Lane County is humongous. I had no idea how big Lane County is until just a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, holy cow, this thing goes from all the way to the ocean, all the way back. And I'm like, I had no idea Lane County. I'm thinking Lane County is Springfield and Eugene. So Lane County Public Health, get a bus, get something, go to these rural areas and get these 2,000, 3,000 people that we need to drop our status. Now, having said that, we here in Lane County, and me as well, we need to do a better job of getting that message out here that says that we want you guys, we need you guys, let's get vaccinated and lower our status because it benefits all. You know, the revenue that these meets, NCAAs, the inland patrols, that's revenue sharing amongst all of Lane County. So these sheriff departments and fire departments, they all benefit from these hotels that are got extreme rates here in Eugene during these events. And so it benefits
Pleasant Hill.
It benefits everybody to lower our rates and get more people in the stands.
Yeah, I think that Robert Johnson's really just ready to have a packed stadium for his student athletes. I mean, we all feel that for sure. I hear that from Coach Johnson, Oregon track and field head coach. We got more from him coming up next week. The NCAA Championships are here at Hayward Field. We got more coming up. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to relieve volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
Ah, it's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor-charged characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Learfield IMG College.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Mega Nugget Cider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies. Over 150 different flavors of Crumble Cookies. Find one in your area. You will not regret it. Robert Johnson, the Oregon track and field head coach, continuing his conversation with the media ahead of next week's NCAA Championships. Here's the Oregon track and field head coach.
Yeah, I wondered with the Olympic trials being so close to these championships, how might that change some of the people who are looking forward to participating there?
Yeah, Karen, just like I was saying now, one of the benefits is I've talked to a gazillion coaches and they're telling me that they're not going to leave. They're going to be here for the NCAA. They're going to stay that week in between, and then they're going to stay for another 2 weeks. So they're talking about being in Eugene, spending money in hotels and restaurants for 3 weeks. So that's got to be a benefit to somebody here in Lane County. We need to make sure the more of them we can get here, the better. The better it is for all of us, especially those that are here in Oregon on this phone call. But from a athlete perspective, it's going to be tough. It's a quick turnaround. You know, for those athletes, especially those in the longer distances, those in the sprints, those are a lot of races in a short amount of time. I think that we knew this was the schedule, and so we've prepared our athletes accordingly to be able to handle those that are going to move on from the collegiate aspect over into the trials. And so I think having been able to prepare for this, we'll be okay.
Hey, Robert, obviously you have a very, very good men's team, won the indoor championship. It looked like you can score quite a few points, but LSU's really, really good, and Terrence Laird's really good. And I wonder how you see the matchup coming if it comes down to the Ducks and LSU.
Good question. It's gonna be interesting. You know, that's the reason why they run the meet. I can remember back once upon a time in 2017, the Ducks were favored just like the Tigers are favored in this meet, except for on the women's side. We were supposed to score 100 points and blah, blah, blah. And of course, all of you know how that one turned out. So that Hayward magic is real. Let's get these people here to cheer on their Ducks and the good performances. Like I said, because we're going to need all the help and all the fans and all the clapping and cheering and yelling that we can get to be able to be formidable against the Tigers and the rest of the NCAA.
Yeah, back to your jumpers. You know, EJ has had such a spectacular spring, and I think you've only had him jump 4 times so far. You know, what is his ceiling when you finally unleash him?
Chris, I love your following of EJ. This is a first, and you've asked me on a number of these phone calls about him and his progress. So much to say that it's funny. But EJ's a talent. I love for you guys to be able to sit and talk to him one-on-one. Very funny guy, very personable guy. One of the guys that I think you guys would love to have in front of you and be able to talk to you. As far as his ceiling is concerned, I don't think there's a ceiling for that guy. Everything that I've asked him to do, he's been able to do, and he's done it with a smile on his face, even when it's hard and it's hurting, and I see him struggling. It's just a calculated approach with EJ and making sure that we continue to nurture and put him in a position to be successful. He's a freshman. He's a non-traditional freshman, but a freshman nonetheless. And so we want to make sure that we bring him along slowly because his future is very bright. And so we could be greedy and try to get it all now, but we're slowly but surely plotting his future out. He's someone that's going to have a long postseason year this year. And so we know that and are aware of that and making sure that we prepare him accordingly as we move forward.
Just to be clear, you're saying funny ha-ha, not funny weird, right?
A little of both. It's amazing how that you know exactly how many times he's jumped this year. That's just, hey, good journalism work for you.
About Makai Williams. At the late April meet in Arizona, I was able to watch his 100 meters, and his start was just phenomenal. At the Pac-12 meet, it didn't quite seem the same. In fact, he seemed to almost stumble a little bit coming out of the blocks, and he was limping a little bit afterwards. I didn't get to see his start at the preliminary round, so I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about that and about his progress, and is he totally healthy coming into the NCAAs?
Yeah, Steve, maybe this is a new adage for you, but let me repeat it. I'm a track and field coach, and I don't get too far into the weeds with that medical history and those things. There's a lot of people smarter than I am, doctors that go and deal with that. As far as Makai and his start, that I can speak on. He did have a terrible start there at the Pac-12 meet, but no, take nothing away from the guy that won. You know, you line up, you shoot the gun, you get whatever you get. You know, that's up for us, as Makai and his coaches, to fix that moving forward. His start at regionals was much better, more like the starts that you've seen there in late April in Arizona, and more not quite as good as those indoors. You know, some of those starts indoors were absolutely phenomenal. And so we've been working to try to recoup those and continue moving on for another 40 meters to get the 100-meter dash in. So working on things, continue to always tinker and trying to get better. Coach Taylor is the one that is shepherding Makai here in our program, and they do starts a good bit. And so just trying to iron out the kinks so what happened at the Pac-12 doesn't happen again.
What are your thoughts on Annetta and what she's been able to accomplish this year, and just kind of seeing her just take the school record by storm a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, this year has been amazing. I did a rant and a tirade earlier in the year when everybody was talking about the shoes this, the shoes that, the shoes this. And I thought it's a disservice that people are doing to the athlete, talking about that's contributes a large part to their success. Like, they're not out there putting in the work and the blood, sweat, and tears out there on the roads and on the sand pits and in the throw circles, and especially on the around the oval. So this year's been amazing on a lot of fronts. So there's been amazing throws and the shots. There's been amazing races running the 10Ks and the 5Ks. There's been amazing things happening in the sprints and jumps. So just an overall good year. And so Helen and I were sitting talking about how 10 flat used to be the grail for the women's steeplechase. And now 10 flat is, everybody is running 10 flat. And it's just the evolution of our sport and that event that it's really taken off. And Annetta's been fantastic here for us here at the University of Oregon. And what many people don't know is she has a sister that runs the same event. And her sister is hella fast as well. And so I'm sure there's a budding rivalry there in their own household in the steeplechase. And so Annetta is someone that we think is special, and we're looking forward to her running the next weekend here at the NCAA Championship.
A lot of information from Robert Johnson. A lot to unpack about some of his individual performers, as the Ducks will send double digits in men and women. Looking forward to seeing what they can do at Hayward Field. I think this is really going to be sort of the – it's almost like Hayward Field's had like the restaurant version and a business version of like a soft opening. You know, it feels like this is really like the okay, and even then it's not going to be the full capacity that we're used to and we're hoping for moving forward, but I feel like this is now the real opening for Hayward Field here moving forward. I'm looking forward to it. Robert Johnson meeting with the media. Coming up next, some news on Oregon baseball. Regional preview Friday, 2 o'clock. That's tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We got a 1:45 pregame show. We're getting ready for some postseason baseball here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
It's important to buckle up your kids.
I know.
Sometimes car seats can be complicated.
I know.
And if your child's in the wrong seat and you get into a crash,
I know.
it could lead to a serious injury.
I know.
So you're 100% sure you have the right car seat for your child's age and size?
I don't know.
Don't think you know. Know you know. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Make sure you have the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio. So, Oregon baseball, 2 o'clock tomorrow. That means no Duck Insider for us. We'll be on the air with the pregame show beginning at 1:45. The Ducks taking on the Blue Devils of Central Connecticut. This is a team that, on paper, Oregon should win. A squad, though, that made a run out of the losers bracket in their tournament to get into the postseason. So now the Ducks, they got to play like the home team, because you know Central Connecticut's going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Well, earlier this week, I asked a number of different members of the Oregon baseball staff and team what they thought the keys to victory were. Asked it a few different ways. First, how about Mark Wazakowski?
Just generally speaking, Waza, heading into a postseason, what are the keys for this team to have success in a regional and to make a deep postseason run?
Well, probably to have the most fun out of everybody in the regional first and foremost. I think these guys, they love to be with each other. You know, just the way this whole year started with the whole COVID situation, the appreciation to be on the field and making sure that stays fresh in our mind, and just enjoying the fact that not only do we get a chance to play in postseason, but now it's time to win it. Now it's time to really have some fun and develop even further than what our team has. I still don't think this ball club has reached its potential. I definitely don't think that we've peaked, and it's a lot of fun. We get a chance to go back to practice field again today when a lot of other teams are going home or going out for summer ball, and that's not the Ducks this year, which is really awesome to say.
And let's hope that we're continuing to say that for the next few weeks. Mark Wazakowski, fun. How about that? What a concept. Have fun. And if you play loose, if you're a good team, you can play loose and you're not going to make mistakes. Those are the teams that tend to play their best. I also asked pitching coach Jake Angier a similar question.
There's a lot of different strategies that teams utilize with pitching in regional rounds, Coach. Just what's on your mind as you head into a regional, and with that strategy play in mind and keys to success for your pitching staff to win this regional?
Strategies to stay the same. I mean, we've had success doing it the way we have all year. The guys have prepared really well each week, and when it comes time to play on the weekend, they've been really competitive and really pressed into the things that they're good at. And so I think when you get into a regional environment or wherever it is, you just want to continue to do the same things that you've done all season really well. You don't need to try to raise your level of play or anything like that. I think you just do the same things and things will work out.
A lot of people wondering who the Ducks are going to pitch in each game this weekend. Well, we'll find out together when the Ducks make that announcement tomorrow. We'll talk with Mark Wazakowski on the Toyota Coaches Corner. I'll be asking him that tomorrow as part of our 1:45 pregame show. So have fun. Team still hasn't hit its potential. Keep doing what you're doing. Ducks are on that upward trajectory. How about offensively? We asked assistant coach Jack Martyr a similar question.
Waz and I have had a lot of conversations about the depth of your guys' lineup, Jack. Do you feel like that's a real key here in postseason plays? Just keep that lineup long, have that bottom part of the order really give you guys some production too?
Yeah, I'm a believer in being able to score in different ways. And so if you have only one way of scoring, you're probably not going to be very successful when you're having to face different pitching staffs, ballparks, doesn't matter what it is. You need to be able to have depth to score in many ways. And I think that our lineup can do that. We can score small ball if we need to. We can score with stealing a base, ball in the dirt reads. And my job was to try and get those guys that had power to get it out of them in a sense. And, when you have guys like, Zavala that can do multiple things, you guys have Hall that can do multiple things. Tanner Smith can do multiple things. Jovan could drive the ball out of the ballpark. And you have guys like Grant and Nowitzki and even guys on the bench and that can do multiple things offensively. That's how you're going to be able to win games. And so the depth comes from just having versatile players that can help you score in many ways. And we still have that on the bench too.
Ducks have done that this year, and I think they're going to need more of it, though, at least more consistently moving forward in the regional to find some success. You got to be able to score in different ways because you never know. Different teams have different strengths, and you don't have as much time to prepare heading into a regional. It's a little bit more about you. Ducks, I think, have the depth to be able to do that. And lastly, Robert Ahlstrom, a guy who is definitely one of the best pitchers around. He's also one of the biggest competitors around. We talked with him.
What's the key to success for you? What's the key to success for this team to make a deep postseason run, Robbie?
Yeah, just staying consistent personally. Just sticking to my routine, doing my arm care, staying healthy. Thank God I've been feeling really good this year. Haven't really been faced with anything. I think that's it's been a key too, like just having like pretty much our starting lineup the entire year, and then our pitching staff. Obviously, I think the key for the team is just keep doing what we have been. Offense when they're clicking, and then pitching staff, like we've been pretty good or really good for the entire year. So if we just keep doing that, not make the game bigger than it is. I mean it is a big deal. Postseason baseball, there's going to be more energy and stuff, but just trying to stay at a level that we can compete at our best. So that'll be the key.
Oregon starting pitcher Robert Ahlstrom. So the Ducks, have fun, keep doing what you're doing, stay consistent. Score in some different ways. So those are your keys to success in the regional coming from the Oregon baseball team. Finally today, good luck to Monica Vaughn and Kathleen Scavo. The Ducks are teeing off, that's right, in the U.S. Women's Open. Coach Mo, if you're live with us, is going to tee off in about 40 minutes at 2:35. Kathleen Scavo will tee off at 2:57 p.m. at the Olympic Club in the U.S. Women's Open. Both got in as qualifiers, and we talked with Derek Radley, Oregon women's golf head coach, on the show yesterday. Was outstanding. Good luck, man. That is so cool. And here's to a couple Ducks advancing and making the cut, and we'll be following along with the entire weekend of Oregon baseball action. I am so excited for postseason baseball to be back at PK Park. No Duck Insider tomorrow because we got postseason baseball. 1:45 pregame show and a 2 o'clock first pitch, and then we'll keep you up to date on the schedule. If the Ducks win, they're going to play Saturday at 7. That's the plan. We'll see you then. I'm Joey Mack. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you for baseball this weekend.
Everybody buckle up. Buckle up.
Let's go.
Buckle up.
Can we go to the store? Mom, can we get some ice cream?
Everybody, buckle up.
A lot goes on in the car, but you're in control. So only move when you hear the click that says they're buckled in. Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back.